The Alldus podcast is brought to you by Alldus International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our ServiceNow series, where we interview the best and brightest of the industry to share their story, advice, and views on the exciting world of ServiceNow and digital transformation.
You're listening to the Alldus podcast ServiceNow series. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guest today is Jesal Mehta. Jesal is the founder and CEO at Aavenir. Jesal, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We're delighted to have you. So, Jesal, lots to cover, but let's start with yourself, please, as we do with all of our guests. Could you give us an overview of your background in technology and a summary of your journey from where you got started, some of the roles you've held along the way, and what's led you to where you are today as the founder and CEO at Aavenir?
Absolutely. Originally a techie guy, grew into more of a management position, led large organizations, built several organizations from grounds up. But unique angle that I always had was that I always built the applications on different platforms. So right before starting Aavenir on ServiceNow, built similar solutions on the Salesforce platform. Prior to that, built similar solutions on the Documentum platform way back when. I'm dating myself when I use that. But so did that for a long time. And my forte from a domain standpoint has been contract lifecycle management, source to pay, quote to cash. That's the area that I've been operating under for last 20 plus years. 6 years ago, circa 2019, when I saw ServiceNow growing, this is even before current CEO took charge at ServiceNow, and I saw huge potential on the platform. I saw it's a growing platform, identified contract management and the source to pay as a white space on the ServiceNow platform. Yeah. Decided to start the company, started working with ServiceNow, and here we are.
Love that. Excellent. So your journey to launching or creating Aavenir was looking at the opportunity that exists within ServiceNow ecosystem and using your source to pay expertise from previous platforms to bring a source to pay offering onto the ServiceNow platform. Great. I love that. So fast forward to where we are today, 6+ years in. Tell us all about Aavenir, who you are, what you do, mission of the business, and what you're currently doing for your customers in source to pay on ServiceNow.
Absolutely. So we offer AI-enabled source-to-pay solutions on the ServiceNow platform. In one sentence, that's what I would say. Yeah. Right? AI-enabled source-to-pay solutions on the ServiceNow platform. We are native to ServiceNow. We only offer solutions on the ServiceNow platform. That doesn't mean that we only offer solutions to ServiceNow customers, because we can OEM the ServiceNow platform. But technology remains ServiceNow, and we offer solutions natively on the ServiceNow platform. We call ourselves Source to Pay. Our flagship product is contract lifecycle management and obligation management, and then we are well supported by the sourcing, onboarding, and AP automation solutions in the Source to Pay kind of a domain. And a lot of our customers typically use multiple products, more than one product. Yeah. So we differentiate by being on the platform and by offering multitude of products so that we complete the complete business process, like the sourcing process or the onboarding process, where contracting and onboarding come together, or sourcing and contracting come together. That's where we shine.
Excellent. And as you alluded to there, a lot of your customers will be using multiple platforms, so you have to have different types of offerings to meet their needs. Could you share some examples? You don't need to disclose the exact customer, but the customer type who you're engaging with and how you're defining the problem as you see it, how Aavenir is helping the customer be more efficient, streamline processes, and what it looks like from first exploration conversation to coming out the other side, the impact that Aavenir is having?
Absolutely. And there are several of those examples. And as I look back, I mean, I really am happy that the choice that we made about the platform. And our target market is the ServiceNow customers who really, really want to double down on the ServiceNow investment. There are large organizations, for example, one of the large insurance companies out of New York, ServiceNow is their strategic platform. And they were using off-platform legacy source-to-pay product, and they were just not happy with it. They wanted a new age, modern, low-code, no-code solution, which is powered by AI, which is essentially ServiceNow, and they wanted to bring that source-to-pay on that platform. So they obviously issued an RFP. We participated in that, competed with a lot of other players. And they ended up choosing Aavenir, and it's been 18 months, 24 months since they went live. But they are starting with sourcing, they're onboarding, they're doing contracts, they're managing the obligations. The whole end-to-end source to contract is happening on ServiceNow. And they are a big ServiceNow customer too. So they have the ServiceNow, the risk module and other modules as well, so that they can integrate easily with Aavenir solutions too.
And because Aavenir is a product that's built on ServiceNow, when you identify a customer who's already using ServiceNow as their framework, it makes for not going to say easy, but it's they've bought into ServiceNow. So when they come across an Aavenir who's built on ServiceNow, it really adds to the value of what you're offering. One thing I did want to talk about is the evolution of the platform and new features and products that are being made available by ServiceNow. When you launched Aavenir in 2018, Source-to-Pay was an area that you had expertise, and you were creating something fit for purpose. The ecosystem is changing, and ServiceNow is coming out with their own direct offerings, and they have some version of a Source-to-Pay, but that doesn't mean that they're in direct competition. If anything, you're doing a lot of collaboration and partnership with ServiceNow. So can you speak a little bit to that for those listening who are probably familiar with Source-to-Pay and know that there's some other Source-to-Pay offerings? How does Aavenir partner with ServiceNow to ensure that your offering is best in class, fit for purpose, on the bleeding edge?
Oh, absolutely. Excellent question. So you're right. Since we kind of started on ServiceNow, ServiceNow has started offering more solutions in the source-to-pay space. For example, their products source-to-pay operations. As the name suggests, it operates in the source-to-pay space, but it is more of an orchestration mechanism. It's a workflow. ServiceNow is workflow, essentially. It's a synonymous for workflow. So it's a workflow for purchasing process. While we take this process and we go deep within an individual process, for example, sourcing, using ServiceNow SPO, the customer's employees can request to source the material or a service. While ServiceNow SPO does not run an RFP event, our sourcing module called RFP Flow runs an RFP event. It issues an RFP, collects the supplier responses, evaluates the different RFP responses, and essentially after that awards the bid to the best supplier.
Yeah.
So in many of these cases, we actually work closely with ServiceNow. ServiceNow does not have this module, and we fill that white space. So even today, as recent as this evening, an hour ago, I got an RFI from ServiceNow saying that let's participate together on this. So we work very closely in this area. And they've been great partners all along on that one.
Great to hear. I'm so glad we got to touch on that, because it shows that the ServiceNow at its core is collaborative with its partners and with companies who are building products on the platform. I want to switch directions of the conversation slightly and talk about the team that you've built. Your background, Source-to-Pay, platform agnostic, given you'd had experience in so many different products. But ServiceNow is its own animal. It's AI and automation, and you had to build out a new team. So what was the process like from having the idea, bringing your own expertise to fast forward to where we are today in 2025? You've built an established team producing high quality work. Walk us through that journey. What were some of the differences that you noticed early on from ServiceNow compared to some of those other platforms? And when you look at the current team dynamic and culture, what is it like behind the scenes to work at Aavenir?
Excellent question, Zevi. So you're right. I mean, I started Aavenir in 2019, just before pandemic hit. So it's an interesting time for our growth as well. And when I started, the concept was I'll bring in the best domain knowledge to the best platform. So ServiceNow best platform was there, and I actually handpicked the best domain experts in the source to pay and contract management space from all over the world and started hiring them. So we have wanted to bring that domain knowledge to the platform. And then the pandemic hit, things changed. Everybody went remote, and that actually opened up the opportunities for us to hire from anywhere. And that suddenly became a thing where we were all remote. Today also, we are all remote company. And majority of the hires that we do, they are not ServiceNow experts. We actually hire non-ServiceNow, but the domain guys. And then we train them on ServiceNow. We believe that's easier. ServiceNow as a platform, as a technology, is fairly easy to adopt. So we hire domain deep, domain rich employees and then train them on ServiceNow. Several of them have come from Salesforce background because of our prior connection with Salesforce. There's a lot of similarity between the Salesforce platform and ServiceNow platform as well. So we could transfer those expertise over to ServiceNow as well.
Love that. Question for you on that, because as you mentioned, I think it's an opportunity to speak to people in the broader technology sphere who hear about ServiceNow and have an interest, and you've done it successfully. You've transferred domain experts over, and if they have a technology foothold, whether it be Salesforce or some other CRM, the transition to picking up ServiceNow can be relatively easy, and there's tremendous opportunity, especially when you focus domain specific, because you and I hear all the time that one of the biggest bottlenecks to production of work and implementations is the human capital side of things. It's the people who can do the work. So speaking to people who are considering ServiceNow, what can you tell them, having had the experience yourself of not just making the transition individually, but transitioning, creating a whole company of people transitioning? If you were speaking to an expert in a CRM and they had domain knowledge, what is it that you tell them that gets them interested in making the switch?
I've been around the block for a while, and I've seen different technologies come and go, different platforms come and go. What remains constant and adds value over a period of time is the domain knowledge. Whether that's a domain knowledge in source to pay, or your domain knowledge in banking, or your domain knowledge in telecommunications, or what have you. Taking this domain knowledge, building on top of that, and then transferring to the different platforms, that's, in my opinion, it's the right way to go about it instead of doing the other way around. Because over a period of time, in the last 3 decades, the technology has matured and we are coming higher and higher in the aggregate level in real platform development and the product development. Technology is less of a concern now, especially with the AI and vibe coding and stuff. Technology becomes less and less important. Your knowledge, your aptitude towards that vertical becomes more and more important. So if I have to hire new employees today, for me, it is less about ServiceNow. It has never been about ServiceNow. So it's even less about that. It's more about how well can you see your customer, their pain points? How can you really create a solution? How can you empathize with them and create a solution for them? That becomes of paramount importance than the technology.
Wonderful. Next question, Jesal. The road ahead. You've obviously built an incredible organization, leveraging your knowledge in source to pay, and made the wise move of focusing on ServiceNow at a really good time. It was around the time that I believe Bill McDermott had made the transition to CEO. Very similar timing to us at Alldus when we decided to go all in on ServiceNow. And as we talk today, despite all the success that's behind you, when you look at the road ahead, there's so much opportunity, particularly in the next few years. So when you look at the near-term roadmap for Aavenir, what are you excited about? What are you hoping to accomplish in the next few years?
I think one thing you'll notice that we have not talked about yet is AI. I mean, you just cannot have a 30-minute conversation without really AI. And that's the reality. That's kind of where all the focus is. Right now, there are two major initiatives that we are working on within the organization. One is obviously AI-enabled solutions for our customers. So existing solutions, but really supercharge them with AI. And there are several use cases, like in sourcing an RFP, you do auto scoring. Your AI agent will auto score an RFP response instead of somebody reading and actually giving a score. Or in a contract, when a third party contract comes in, before a paralegal looks at that, an AI agent looks at that and redlines that automatically based on your standard language. Or during an onboarding process, an AI agent will scan and read through all the vendor documentation before it goes to the vendor manager, the banking document, your incorporation certificate, what have you, right? So these kind of AI superchargers, what I call them, which expedites the processes, the business processes of sourcing, contracting dramatically, and empowers the users, not necessarily doing an autopilot mode, but in at least strongly in a co-pilot mode with this AI agent. So that's one area that we are heavily focusing on. And second is our internal productivity improvement. So we have a second internal campaign called Everyday AI, where we want our employees to start using AI for all little things internally to improve their productivity. HR person, if they're writing an offer letter, earlier I used to take 15 minutes. Can I do it in 5 minutes using an AI? A marketing person writing a blog, can I do it in 1/5 of the time? A developer writing a code, can I do it 1/5 of the time before? So these are the everyday AI activities, just internal to our organization. But now what that means is with our current staff, I can do almost 2x worth of work than I used to be able to do. So my product roadmap accelerates, and therefore we are able to cater to our customer faster and better.
Final question for me, Jesal. As a successful entrepreneur who's launched an amazing business on the ServiceNow platform in Aavenir, you've been hands-on in building the team, shaping the go-to-market strategy, but you're also heavily involved in the culture and attracting talent. When you're speaking to individuals who you believe are a good fit for Aavenir when you're hiring, what is it that you tell them about Aavenir, the mission, the environment, the opportunity that gets these people interested and excited to join Aavenir over some of the other great companies also competing for this type of talent?
Absolutely. So 3 values that we operate by: innovation, customer focus, and joy. These are the 3 values that we actually go by. Innovation, and we don't limit ourselves innovation to the technology space. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to innovate something. A salesperson offering a new pricing method to our prospect, it's an innovation. One of our professional services engineer talking to a customer and presenting the use case in a very different manner so that the customer can understand that, that's an innovation. So small innovations to the big innovation, the focus is on innovation. That's one thing that we all talk about all the time. Customer focus, needless to say, that's where the whole focus is. And it's less about technology, less about the product. It's more about the solutions. How does our customer benefit from this? And what's the outcome that our customers are getting? Last but not the least is joy. Because at the end of the day, we are here to work with the like-minded people and enjoy. And that's what we wanted to infuse from day one. And guess what? If my employees are joyful, they enjoy the work, they are happy, our customers are going to feel that because it's an infectious feeling. So these are the three things that we go by, we emphasize on, we talk a lot, and that's kind of what we evaluate our prospective employees for as well.
Jesal, thank you so much for coming on today and talking to us. It's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate you sharing your story, your journey from source to pay expert to the decision behind switching to the ServiceNow platform and all of the success that you're having, and most importantly, your outlook on the opportunity ahead and what's possible, and then the insight into the environment at Aavenir. It sounds like it's a great place to work, focusing on impact and joy. So we wish you, the team, and everyone at Aavenir the very best luck in the months and years ahead, and look forward to having you back on the show again in the near future.
Looking forward to that. Thank you very much, JP. See you then.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.